So warm welcome. I think I'm going to start our togetherness with moving this lamp here. Can you see how it kind of caresses me, even though I'm still?
Yeah.
It connects well with why we're here. This is the first ever start of sharing around the book with a big T for me. So I'm very happy that you're here, Helga and Masha. And Masha is in Russia somewhere, and Helga is in Iceland, and I'm in Iceland. And there will be several meetings with beautiful women, which I have met during the way, who would share a little bit and kind of support the whole birthing, because it feels needed now. So if you can introduce yourself a little bit, how you'd like to introduce yourself, and just a short reflection first on the whole phenomena that the book is happening. Anyone? Who wants to start?
I can start. Hi, my name is Helga, and I met Matilda through Ista and other weavings in Iceland, coaching, and my current service in the world is hosting and facilitating workshops and courses around conscious sexuality, intimacy, and also yoga and relaxing and meditating. So that's my current life. I'm a mother, and I have 3 children and a husband that I met 13 years ago.
Yay.
Yes. And what did you say? A reflection on the offering that you're creating?
Yeah, exactly. Like a first.
Yes.
What is happening here?
Well, I do feel vulnerable after seeing the cover and the first pages, and it is already kind of moving me. So I think that's what I will say. I think it's important offering about like the realness of life, not just
something is touching you at once. You want to share what is touching you.
What I resonate so deeply with is like that already in the beginning of the book, it's like sometimes it's great, sometimes it sucks, and it's about like you call it recommitting, and that's what I've kind of done in my marriage. Is like, this is what I'm choosing today, and sometimes I want to run away, but I'm choosing not to. So that's the tears and emotions that are coming up. So for that I'm grateful, because it's not like icing on a cake. Life is not that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for being so much you, Helga, and allowing us to be with you. That's what I adore. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And Masha, I'm so amazed that we are here. Would you like to just tell who you are, and also the first you mentioned in
my
the
name
book?
Is Masha.
So yeah,
I'm now back to Moscow. I've been to south of Russia for several months, and I am I am the initiator of the book.
Yay!
Yeah, I was the interpreter who asked the question, and for me, I also create meditations on self-love and self-acceptance, very bodily connected, tantric, I guess, and this is my big passion. I also work with language barrier, but that's another issue. So what I enjoyed in this interaction was that you were writing me emotional stuff that I had no idea what it was about. It was like mainly emotions coming from something that like I had no
I had no understanding of. And then I really loved how you made it very gradually, very illogical, but at the same time, when I see the cover and I have some time with the cover, and then nobody does this, you know, you look through, when you buy a book, you look through the book, you read the what's in the end, kind of. So, and for me, I've never been in a long-term relationship. I have no idea how that works. And I have only heard how ugly it can get and how boring it can get, and how people, you know, all of my family, like my grandparents, my parents, my relatives, are all in long-term relationships, and I don't see any beauty in it. I mean, they all say, you know, but we're together for such a long time. Like, if it's a goal to be together for a long time. So I was really shocked when you told me about having sex every day. It was like, that exists. So that gave me some hope and some inspiration. So I'm very, and then I realized you actually brought it in such a beautiful way, not just sharing videos, because videos get lost, you know. So I'm really curious how it's gonna develop.
That's fantastic. And thank you so much, Masha, for being a part in this initiation, and just being who you are with all what you're bringing, which brought us together. And you know, it's such a weaving. It's so fantastic how we affect each other. So thank you for now, and we will see to that everyone gets more. We're going to share more, but that will be in a podcast that we present later. So thank you very much for. What I'm amazed about is how many angles there are of everything. So let's, after reading now the very first chapter, and you're the first people who are, there's some people correcting with me, but otherwise you're like the first people who are like looking into this creation. And to me, it's really like a piece of my sharing, like I would paint a picture. So I haven't changed anything. It kind of just comes like this. And that's all the chapters, you know. So I'm not going back, changing, adding, you know, it's just, this is like this. So and so us talking is not about me changing either. It's more about like, what does it do to affect you, and what is your thoughts about these things in the first chapter. It's about finding a way to share for me, and it's also about the first questions that Masha initiated with. How do you know someone is someone? And also, how do you, our answers to that. So let's hear more reflections of what you take from just the first chapter there.
Now everybody's gonna cry, right?
That's fine. What I love is living as clean, you know, living as present, living as whole, as feeling and sensing as possible. And whoa, the quality of that is just mind blowing. You know, the sensation in this moment of what my body is, you know, talking. So Masha, it's fine. Anything's fine. Yeah. So more reflections.
Okay, I'm gonna start because, like I said, I've never had this experience. I cannot even imagine how it can be alive. So for me, I was irritated in the beginning because I was like, why do you send me this chapter Saturday night when I go out and I have no time to read it? You know, it's like very disrespectful to not give me enough time to, not me, I mean everyone, like to choose when I can read it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it on my way to the meeting, because that's the only time that I have apart from nighttime. And when I was reading, you know, I was stunned by this sincerity, because it feels like it comes from a very unique and a very clear space. So, you know, I was not disturbed by people in the metro. I was not distracted anymore. I was not irritated anymore. It's like if you enter this cool spring of water and you forget the hot day that was. You know, I have all these images from coming from the Southern experience right now. You know, you come from a heated place and you dive in and you're like, oh, wow, this is going to be deep. This is going to be precious. This is going to be very vulnerable for me. Like I felt the desperation that I have. I don't know how to connect to this because I never had it. And I feel a lot of pain around it. It's not like only an intellectual interest, like, wow, tell me more about your experience that I never had. It's like, will I ever have this experience? I mean, will I ever live as long with somebody and as, you know, close and sincere? So from this first, I really like that I only had one chapter, so I didn't have to scatter through. So I felt like, it's like when you fall in love with somebody and you feel all the emotions at the same time, you know, there's this potential, you're a bit ecstatic and super sad and at the same time confused, and you feel some pain, and it all comes, you know, together. That's what I felt.
Wow, how you paint the picture, how you're able to describe your sensations, on the inside. And I just also want to add that I like the curiosity, you know, oh, there's something that I could possibly, you know, there might be something more I can, you know, that approach to life. The book is not for everyone to do the same thing, to have the same rhythm. Actually, the first sentences on the back of this is like the becoming cover. On the back of the first sentences, as you saw, is everyone has their own rhythm. So your rhythm is perfect, Masha. And what I love, you know, if it's possible to hear that, oh, they're like different angles, they're different. And I will never, for example, experience what you are experiencing, Masha. So it's so rich to be open to listen and to take in different experiences, because you also sit on gold, you know. So it's not that someone has gold and someone does not have gold. It's just amazingly rich, all our experiences. Yeah, so I adore how you can describe your sensations and feelings.
I'm much better in Russian, you know.
I bet. Yeah, I bet you are also. Helga.
Yeah. Yeah, I did appreciate your language, Masha, and clear images. So beautiful. The first thing I'm thinking of, because you took up the cover, I feel like there's not a mention of your marriage or husband on the cover. I don't know if it's intentional.
Well, I can also ask you because I also thought about that, because I just added, I'm a mother, you know, Matilda is a mother of 4 children.
Yes.
Because that's kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah. I was missing,
I also have there?
Yeah.
You want that? Okay, great. So I'm going to put that in, because it's in creation, all the pieces.
Yes, and it's intriguing. The title is Daily Sex, and then I read the back, and it's like married for how many years with 4 children. It's for me, it would be like, whoa, okay, how does this come to, like Masha said, how the hell does that happen even?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, but that's beautiful. So that's added now. Yeah.
Okay. That was for me. I'm very analytical, you know, my left brain is a lot more developed than the other. So for me, it's a little bit challenging to read the kind of poetic, you know, like you say, it's like a painting. So for me, it was a little bit of getting into dropping my analytical way and just receiving. But it invoked a lot of emotion. So when I was there, and it helped me that you wrote in the introduction, this is not analytical text. It's not logical. It's from, it's a, so it helped me moving again and again to just absorbing it. Yeah. I'm going back to what I was feeling. I loved the introduction of your husband, how you recorded your answers to this question, like, and even though the answers were different, I felt like they were still the same. It was so beautiful. Like, one was like, it's a choice to be married and doing it every day, and the other one is like, I recommit to it. But somehow it's like I could relate to both in a profound way. It's like, yes, it's enough to make it solid, so I'm going to work with that. It's a decision, but also the decision is to recommit every day to what is. And sometimes it's really ecstatic, and sometimes it's really dreary.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did it awaken questions also? You know, are there questions? Yeah.
Well, at least I'm very curious to see more.
Yeah. There's 33 chapters.
And like the table of contents, it was like, I would like to read more.
Yeah.
See where this goes. And also, like, just the first chapter is already kind of, I don't know, like, it's allowing me to be more like that, just flowing from this free space. I don't know. Wow, I didn't expect this coming. So yeah, so reading it like this rawness is sort of allowing me to be more in that place. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, Masha.
Well, actually, I quite agree with Helga, because I now realize that, yeah, I would like to see your husband in the picture too, because it's very important that it's not your experience with different men, you know, and or a beginning of relationship when you have sex every day. It's like a very long journey of 2 people and the family. So that, because I know what is this book about, I kind of forgot about it. But now that Helga mentioned it, I was like, yeah, because I saw him on the video, you know, because his picture is already in my head, but now I don't see it anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna look back to that sentence you said. It's a long journey with the family, actually. And when I'm thinking of it now, it's actually this activity and this challenge that we started. It's after 4 children. you know, it's our youngest is 15. Yeah, so, and we've been in this activity rhythm since, yeah, since 12 years. So that's interesting. Yeah, so I hear the difference. And also, if I could have chosen just for me, on the picture would be me and David, me and my partner, but he's choosing not to. He's not. He would not like that. So I'm like respecting that and creating what I need to kind of move out there. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the cause. But that I'm married, and that's it. Long journey with a family. I like that. That's beautiful. A way to kind of describe it, which is like the kind of awkwardness and newness and unheard aboutness thing.
Mhm.
It does sound weird, at least for my Russian, mind, that marriage and children and sex, they don't really connect. It's either sex or marriage, it's either sex or children, because sex is something that is not connected to children, It's like you have sex, you have children, and then you can't have sex because you have children. And because
I see.
and that's so married people don't talk about sex because there are children around, and it's like sex is like drugs becomes, or weapon or something very obscene. Like, don't mention it, because then you have to protect your children from sex, so they don't have sex, So when you say sex and family and marriage all together, it's like, ooh, what?
Yeah, and I love all these reflections, because this is how many people think, of course.
In Russia, it's like you say sex, people say there are children around. You don't say out loud, because they can learn about it, and then have it, and that will be a disaster.
Oh, this is so terrible. This is so terrible, because this is like the whole, this is the root from where my longing comes from, because the most beautiful of life experiences of being in a body happens behind a locked door, in the dark, when no one knows. And it's so double. It's like the most beautiful thing. It should be out in the light in some way. And I have no idea how we do that. But that's like my urge is that the sensation of sensuality and sexuality, and that is allowed, that we can see it and hear it. And in my family, the door is locked. So the children are not around at all. They have no idea about the most beautiful things in between us at all. They even don't hear us. Maybe you have to ask them, but I don't think they hear us. Yeah.
But like I said, I remember this conversation that we had in Moscow, and I was like, okay, because we met in the tantric community, for sure, that's the main issue there. But most of tantrikas are not even married. I mean, most of tantrikas that I know have no kids, and they're not married. They have tantric partner, 2 partners, 3 partners, whatever. But having like a hardcore family, not with 1 kid, but like, this is mind blowing. I mean, I feel that you are very scared too, even though you're not Russian. So it must be an international perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, what I can
reflect.
Jump
in, Helga.
Yeah. So what I can reflect on, like from the Icelandic, rather liberal society, it's still like a married couple will have almost obligatory sex once a week. That is success. That is like the unwritten kind of paradigm. Like, if you have sex once a week, you don't even have to enjoy it, then you're a successful marriage. So this is kind of what goes around, and a lot of struggles in couples with desire imbalance or different expectations. And I don't think yeah, I think there's too much of under thriving in the bedroom. So I think like what I'm feeling when I look at you, Matilda, describing it is like, why are we not celebrating sex and intimacy in committed couples? It's like,
And and committed couple or not committed couple,
yeah,
celebrated
whatever.
everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
And also it is this journey that we have not talked so much about, because it's a lot of fun raising children. This whole journey is a lot of both obstacles and wonderful and, you know, everything. And but to keep alive, you know, to keep alive, allow arousal, you know, to talk about these words, you know, I long now, you know, this is how I feel, you know, to live a sexual, sensual, you know, mother of many, whatever, single, you know, but like to be able to keep living alive instead of dying. To me, I'm a bit very straight, but it's the opposite is like dying inside, and it's not good for anyone. It's not good for the young people around, and it's certainly not good for if you're trying to be in a couple. So, and it's not good for yourself. It's not good for health. It's like contracting, you know, being sick in the end. Mm-hmm. So this is what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, working with like couples in a kind of circle setting, I find that not even is there a lack of vocabulary for sex and sensuality, but also just vocabulary for feeling. So it's really like this rawness of the book is, I think it's helping in that sense. It's like people just don't have they don't know how to express feeling, longing. So when it comes to sex, it's even more stifled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Masha, you want to connect to that?
I'm thinking that like for me, it evoked my pain that I don't have this long-term partner, but also I think the topic itself could evoke a lot of pain in couples that do have a long-term partner, but they don't have any connection or love or intimacy going on. So I think it's not all, you know, light and breezy and enjoyable, because just by putting a question this way, you're like pointing finger at one of the most painful topics in the society, you know, because many people just lost connection to gender, and it's like evolving all over the world. Nobody knows what is to be feminine, what is to be masculine. Like, why do you need a family if you can support yourself? Why should you? When is the time to separate to somebody or to, you know, power through? And actually there is no one concept as it used to be in Soviet Union or, you know, in whatever, you know, situation. It's like everybody's, you know, somebody's changing gender, somebody's still in this hardcore patriarchal thing that, you know, doesn't help anybody, but it exists at the same time. Every time I hear of some weird experience or some very liberal experience, I think to myself, it exists in this time, at the same time that, you know, people are still enslaved. We have people who change their kid's gender because he put on a girl's dress, and they go, okay, let's change, you know. It's like unbelievable. And because every change that is ongoing, we don't know where it will lead, and we're in this massive process that is, you know, leading us to nobody knows where. And we are all afraid of change, I'm sure, because change is scary. And when you have this example of a life that has been lived, not the idea, Like I can have an idea of long-term relationships, so I can read about it and talk about it and then make my projection about it. You know, sharing the experience of a lived life instead of just ideas like spiritual people mostly do is very powerful, I guess.
How great, and this is what it's all about. This is also what makes my heart beat and hurt and be scared, and you know, the piece of art and the book and everything, because there are all these different layers, and there is not easy in any way at all. But it's in a way also what, you know, what I stand for. We have to lift and show and talk about the light and the beauty and the, like, where we're going. In a way, the opposite would be not to share, you know, what works and what are beautiful things. So it's not at all for copying. You know, it's not at all for that. It's for like opening and inspiring or questioning or showing, or you know, like that. Yeah.
And it
also,
seems to come, it feels that it
yeah.
comes from a different route than, you know, all these fake articles in the magazines like Spice Up Your Marriage, wear, you know, sexy underwear in the middle of the day, do something unusual. It's like you're stuck in your routine, and then you have another, it seems when I read this, when I see that, you have another challenge to overcome, to add to all the things that you're dealing with, like renovations and kids, and then you have to buy this expensive underwear and hope that it works, and this underwear glues something together in intimacy or something, because that's the only idea about reviving intimacy and sexual connection in long-term relationship that is out there on the surface. Like,
I love this point also, Masha, because this is also, as you see, the cover, it's an old lady without makeup, you know. So, and this is the point, you know, this is the whole point.
how dare you?
Yeah, I have no idea how I dare, but it's just what I stand for, that it's not at all about black leather, you know. It's not about doing weird new things at all. It's like the opposite. It's just being aware, you know, that sexual energy is there and allowing it to be, and like honoring being in contact with what's already there. Even if you have 4 children, or if you have 2 or 1 or none, you know, the sexual energy is there, and it's for us to enjoy during our day. But what we do is like we kind of walk around like pretending it's not there, or we have not been wise enough to allow ourselves to recognize it and to like embrace it. Well, in my journey, which I describe in the book later, when I started to feel how much sexual energy were there, you know, in the middle of the day, it's like walking around with a fireball between my legs, you know, like you know, my thought was, something's probably wrong with me. I should take this away. This is probably not right. Yeah. And then the journey started. I need to find other people who kind of relate to what I'm experiencing. Then I found the ISTA training, which I went to. And I was so scared, and you will probably hear later when I invite other ISTA people to share. They will laugh, because my journey, I was so scared. And today I organized those trainings because I want more of that space around. But it's like being in contact with the amazing flow of energy and not closing it down, and just starting to realize I fucking closed it down, you know. And that's something good to see that. And the hurt, Masha, of seeing it does not work, we are dead, you know, that's good news. You know, that's really fantastic news, because then it's possible to start open little bit. Yeah. And that's my longing for everyone to experience.
That's the change you want to see in the world?
Yes, 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 yes.
I mean, I guess that's why you're sharing, right?
That's, you know, that's what I just sense in my whole being, like my soul, when you know, it's like in a way it's not my brain writing, you know, it's like my sensing, my soul wants to like dance and share. Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the best way, actually, in this kind of sharing. I guess that's the best way. Otherwise, you're trying to please somebody or to be accepted by somebody. I guess.
Yeah, I have a strong, I relate strongly to your experience, Matilda. And when I started feeling my sexual energy, it wasn't the same kind of, I didn't get scared. I was just like so mind blown of all the conditioning that was holding my life force down. So I was just like, what is this stuff? I want to break through it. And found Ista that helped me do it. But I can feel in the same time how triggering it is for people who are not feeling it and hearing about it. And it's so much easier to believe I'm just not like that, you know. Like you're saying, be wise enough to allow it. But somehow there can be a strong part of me saying, I'm just not wired like that. I don't have any blocks, or, you know, I'm not holding it down. It's just, I'm not with that stuff, you know.
And I those reflections are so valuable, because it's also nothing that you have to do. It's nothing that someone needs to do in any way, and it's nothing wrong with anyone. Yeah, so that's like the foundation. The possibility, though, is to feel more alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's there for everyone, but it's a journey. It needs exercises. It needs talks and practice to like support the body to open up, and that's possible. That's what's so amazing. So it's like possible to invite yourself to like release oneself. And I had no idea about this. I had no idea about that this would happen to me. But the activity, you know, it was my husband who invited for this activity of daily practice. It was he who invited for it. And I said, sure, let's try it. And what I did not know that the activity of the daily practice would open my body up to more sensing pleasure and like containing bliss, like being able to be in bliss, being able to be in orgasmic vibrations longer and more and often. And you know, that I had no idea that was the case, that it works like that. And that needs to be known more and available. That's what my longing is.
I think this is a very important point about the thing that nothing is wrong with you. I think you cannot really say this enough, because something is wrong with you is this voice that everybody has inside. And one time saying this to anybody, I mean, people don't hear that because it's just counterintuitive, because you know that you are broken or wrong. So when this message is repeated again and again and again and comes together with some new knowledge, I guess this makes it soft, you know, this coming through this pain, because it's a very new approach that you can change things, but doesn't mean that this stage of yours is wrong.
Yeah.
And because most of people are dealing with their sexuality on their own, it's difficult to talk about it with, like, who would you talk about it with? Friends, or even in tantric community, you know, like there are many people that, you know, you can't really talk to them. So to just see this message and hear this message again and again, I think is it's like soothing, very soothing. I mean, you can only hear it when you heard it so many times, and then it sinks in and you're like, okay, that nothing is wrong with me, I guess. When you hear it like millions of times.
Yeah, that connects with what Helga also talked about, like the programming. It's both like being a human being. It seems like we're talking, we're like complaining with, like the inner voice is always kind of pulling us down. So it seems like without anyone else helping in any way, we're kind of not talking very effectively to ourselves. So we're like, I'm insecure, I'm not okay, something is wrong, all this. It's like in everyone. So that's going on to start with. And then when we add to that, should not talk about sex, you should not do that, don't show that, or you know, all this. You know, it's just fantastic how it becomes such a massive closing one down, and just behaving like a very successful person in the world, you know, but really programmed effectively to hold yourself together in a way, like contracting. And it's such freedom to you know, I'm just welcoming so much festivals and you know, any surrounding where you're allowed to be as you are and share, and there's so much to, you know, to experience of beauty.
Are there any exercises in the book?
There are no exercises in the book, but that's an idea I'm going to write down. That
I mean, it can be, you know, in the end, like practices that you can do, like rituals or something. Not inserted in the book, not necessarily, you know, if it's not in the flow, but like in the end, a section of practices.
Okay, I will add that, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking something similar prior, of some sort of like the question that will come, how did you do it? Like, how could I do anything remotely similar? Practical advice or practices, rituals, whatever. Somehow that could be valuable in the end. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. I will add some. I also share all the links and the defining moments of what I have had. All those links are in there for just to like go get it. You know, that's the like whole point. So
because I think when you have some new information, and you not only, you know, when you have an insight, for example, you have an insight and you're like, oh wow, now I know that I'm like this because my grandmother, and then you're high on this insight for a while, and then it's gone. You know, you just know that you're like this because your grandmother did something. And the whole different story is when you do, say, regular meditations, and then you have this shift. And then you can talk to your grandmother suddenly, and you're like, wow, I feel no wall between us anymore. I know why it was there in the first place, but it's like, so I think when there is something coming from the practice perspective, not like from the intellectual perspective, and there is an option to absorb this information, not only intellectually, but, you know, practice and then get it, not understand it, get it. it goes deeper than just reading about it. Like, wow, what an interesting experience somebody had. It's completely divorced from my reality. I just feel hurt again or inadequate again. So, you know, there's another way to go a bit deeper, like try it out. So for example, I'm a single mom. I don't have this long-term partner, but I feel like I disconnect from my sexuality to go to the mother mode. So when I leave my daughter, like for 2 weeks or for a month, I gradually become another person, you know, more sexual, more open, more adventurous, you know, and I'm like, I'm finally me. And then she's back and I have to be, you know, homeschooling and stuff and, you know, become tough. And when you told us just this thing that it doesn't have to be this way, I would just like to try a practice to do with myself, you know, to feel the flow and not block it, partner or no partner, you know, this is my sexuality. It's not like somebody gives it to me. How can I, because the revolutionary thing is that, yeah, I can go to a tantric meeting and I'm completely, you know, sensual and sexual, then I go back to checking homework and there's nothing left, you know, I'm just a mother, you know, like mother and sensuality and sexuality is like, while I'm still in the same body, you know, I switch it off. I would like to not switch it off.
But I've also kind of invited this conversation because why can we not be sensual and sexual with children, you know, around children in our everyday life? I don't switch it off. It's just who I am. Yeah. So that's a great point. And it's also very, you know, this whole topic is really interesting. We could talk a whole hour probably about that later. But how do I kind of be a role model for the younger individuals in my body? Yeah. How what works for me? What have me feel good and healthy and whole? You know, while all these different roles are going on. Helga, you have 3 children also.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how to practically approach the kind of this unpacking. So one of my discoveries in my awakening, my sexual awakening, whatever you want to call it, was feeling sexual with my kids. So driving my kids around and just feeling the surge of sexual energy and feeling like I should push it down. But my being was saying, this is not necessary. You don't have to push it down. Why do I feel like I need to push it down? And even like this one moment where I was just changing diapers on my infant and his leg or something touched my crotch and I felt like a sexual feeling. And I actually, my mind produced the story that I might be a pedophile. I was disconnected to like this instrument just having this permission to be what it is. It didn't mean I had a sexual kind of urge toward my child. It was just a reaction of my body. So these 2 instances really brought about a realization for me that I had to be not separated, not the sexual me and the me, and allowing them to be in the same body all the time. For the practical way, I think I just created some mantras. You know, if I could feel the block coming or the separation coming, I had something that I was saying to myself. I don't remember it now, but it was, for me, that was the practice. Just saying, hello, okay, here's my sexual energy. Wow, I invite you to flow. And I can be here for my children with that moving inside. So gradually it has become a very rarely a separation. It's me, mother, sexual being is not separated.
Wow. Whoa, how beautiful it is to hear these like more alive, inclusive, also appreciating and acknowledging. Hello, body. You know, like the sensations are there 24/7. Doesn't matter if it's a table or a child's leg. You know, like the sensation will be the same, and I'm present to this bliss machine. You know, what's happening. And there comes all the judgments and, oh, you're not supposed to feel that feeling. It's connected to in the bedroom after 9, you know. So that's fantastic, inclusive, like examples. And Masha, you want to reflect?
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear. I would like to hear more of things like that, because, you know, here I saw a post from a tantrika person who was discussing with her followers, like, is it okay to be naked in front of your kid? You know, just walk naked. And people were like, no, this is completely inappropriate. And I was like, I take bath with my daughter once in a while. You know, it's our family time. Nobody ever took a bath with me from my family. I never saw my mom naked. But I think it's like a tantric relaxation came upon me. But I don't know any other people like that allow any sensuality. I don't even say sexuality. So if you don't allow, you must constantly block it, for sure. And then if you block it all the time, how can you then suddenly bring it on? Like, where does it come from? It's gone very far, I guess. So yeah, it's very interesting to talk about it. It actually sounds logical that if you constantly say no, 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 not now, and then you say now, you go, it's like now, and then in half an hour time it's too late. And so it doesn't have enough time to flow. And then it comes to you in the morning, and then again the timing is too bad because I have to get children to school, so go back, you know. It has to be ongoing, I guess. Yes, that's very logical, actually. It has to be ongoing to be always there. And yeah, there has to be a practice to relax around it, socially too, not only when you're inside. I know how to relax around it in the tantric practice, you know, because there are only grown-ups there, everything is consensual, there are setting and rules. But if you're at your friend's house and there are kids around, it's like,
beautiful reflections, and I also get the sense when you're speaking, Masha, that that's how my body is right now. It's turned on. It's turned on all the time. And
wow.
Yeah, that's how
Beautiful.
it is. I'm in orgasm, you know, like the whole time. One breath and orgasm is here. So and that was not always the case. And what was I going to do?
But it has to be pronounced verbally, you know, because even that the thing that Helga said is so taboo. I mean, this is not the things that you say out loud to anybody else. If you ever feel it, forget about it. You know, it's not, it's like, you can say it in therapy and then, you know, work around your perversions, but you cannot just say it out to people. And because there's a lot of taboos and nothing to counter reflect on that, it's very difficult. Because even when you feel something, even when I lie with my daughter in a bathtub, I have no words to describe it, and I don't really talk about it. I don't advertise it. I don't share it. I mean, I mention it because I am a rebel in a way. When people, when I mention going to the bath, one of the formats, okay, is going there with my daughter, but there is no way to talk. So there must be more words on this. I mean, on this topic in the other direction.
Yes. This is what we are now starting to talk about. This is what we're starting to admit, that the body is like a separate being, or it's like a being, and it's not to turn on and off. Or to me, that's what my truth is now. It's not, why should I turn me off? You know, I'm on, you know. Yeah. So heating someone up, or like preparing for sexual intercourse, it almost does not need any time, because it's already there. So it's more, you know, how do I want to enjoy? And also I have a 17-year-old boy. I have also daughters, but there's like a, do I feel sexual around him? Yes, I feel sexual around him, because it's me feeling sexual around him, and he's a beautiful, masculine, you know, grown up. So of course I feel sexual around him. And to start to kind of admit that body is, you know, have all these sensations, and I feel it, and I enjoy it, and it's blissful, and that's how it should be. It's something to kind of own and allow and bathe in. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So we are all dead, huh?
Well, I can admit I'm not turned on all the time. But I feel really alive and everything is moving. But I need warming up for sure. But it's like, I don't know, what I'm feeling mostly is what Masha and you just said about like talking about things and what is taboo and what is not taboo. I think every time me or you, we say something with this vibrational quality of this deep knowing, like I know I'm not a pedophile, you know, I really know it. I know in my deepest part that it was my body reacting. So if I can say it out loud from that place, that changes it trickles out in a different way. If I'm sitting in my therapist's office and I'm ashamed of what I felt, it's such a different vibration. And even just listening to people who say, I don't feel anything when I touch myself. There's such a barrier between what they sense, like a thought barrier. They don't. I only feel something when somebody else touches me. I hear it a lot. And it's like, wow, all the things that come between me feeling my finger on my skin are thoughts or ideas or things that were passed on me. So, and I love this, Matilda. It's me. And this is why I set boundaries for myself and not for the others, which is what we're taught in society. Make sure not to step on anybody's anything, rather than saying, contain your being within your own boundaries and ask always for permission, whatever you want to do. But whoosh, this is me. And I know where I start and where I finish.
I'm just wondering, I'm just wondering, not how to warm up to something. How do I undo or stop doing what I'm doing to not feel myself or not stay in the flow all the time? Because it's not about, so it's very, now that I see that it's very twisted, the effort to suddenly become aroused, it's so, you know, it's not logical anymore for me.
Wow,
it's
that's
like,
so beautiful to hear.
How do I stop doing the efforts that I'm doing constantly not to be aroused in the daily life, to to make this available. So the thing is not to how to make another effort. The thing is how to find the efforts that I do and stop doing them. How to acknowledge what am I doing to not feel sexual as a mother, to not feel sexual around somebody else's husband, God forbid, or my children or somebody else's children or this neighbor or, a bad guy, like a woman, God forbid again. It's like so many concepts of where I should not feel sexual that it's really difficult for this flow to flow.
But maybe that's like the perfect part to finish this sharing now. That's a piece of homework. That's an exercise that I will put in the book. Start to notice when you feel your sexual energy, and you stop it. And notice what you do. Just start to notice. Now I feel my sexual energy, and maybe you say something, maybe you turn your body. It's interesting. It's subtle. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. Yeah.
Can you please write it down for us in the chat later?
Yes,
I mean, not on
yes,
this one, but on Facebook, so we can go back to it and take this practice. If I mean, I want to try it out and see how. What do we find?
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. And I also love to hear, because the journey is so amazing. So it's a true, warm invitation to try things out, and there will be very little subtle and great openings out of that. So any last words before we finish?
Just, I think gratitude. I'm just sitting here in my parents' summer house, looking out at nature and you two goddesses, and getting all so inspired, and little things moved inside. So I really appreciate. It was beyond what I expected, and thank you, Matilda, for bringing us together, and Masha, really precious to meet you and hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really didn't expect it would be so enriching and so alive and vulnerable and inspirational. I had no idea what it would be anyway, but I'm very beautiful. I'm very impressed how it started with Helga crying a little bit, and I was almost crying several times. And I feel like crying again now. I'm very grateful that you went through with this, Matilda. Really, it could have stayed like another idea. I really hope we continue on this, gathering. I would love to see the world a different place while I'm still alive,
Wow, how beautiful ending words, and you have no idea, you are part of this birthing. So it's like we're living my longing, our longing. So I just adore that you're here, and that what came to me is to do 33 of these, for each chapter, to invite a few goddesses. So that would be something.
Wow.
So thank you so much, my pioneers. And maybe you come back. I don't know how it will work, but we will find ways.
Thank you. I would like to.
So thank you very
again. Yes.